I think it's just another shot. If Smite had different rules where you pick ban and that's the draft that you get for the next couple of sets, I think this is fine. Epsilon, like we said, they're a very good team. They've really come to the next level, but lightning in a bottle. London Conspiracy is capable. I think that going into this next game, LC looks at game one as sometimes your opponent just goes ham.
Well, this is game two, though. Conspiracy going to get first pick, which means they may be able to get a priority for themselves. Last game, Giannis was given over to Yamin because of the pick ban situation. This time, though, Conspiracy may be able to get themselves a bit of a better situation.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, when we actually saw the picks and bans, I was quite happy with Conspiracy's composition. It didn't seem bad.
Exactly, and I want to drive this home. Last game was won by Epsilon, not lost by LC.
Agreed.
LC can win this game too. What they need to do is they just need to forget and shrug it off. And knowing this squad, and honestly, just when you're at this level, you understand that sometimes any team can have a game like Epsilon, and you just go, all right, you rolled a 6.
Sylvanus.
Good job.
Sylvanus, that's what I'm calling right now for Conspiracy to pick up. They banned out Giannis for a reason. I think they want a priority pick. They don't want Epsilon to have that that Sylvanus either. So I expect to see London Conspiracy pick that one up right now. Right about now. At any time.
ISIS,
okay.
Smoked.
Okay. Just like free FP week, right?
ISIS is going to be a great pick. It is the most winningest god that Arrow has chosen. 5 out of 7 plays, he has taken home the victory. And a large KDA, 2.9. And as I said, when it comes to objectives, ISIS, Circle of Protection, this is what you want on your side. You want to be able to just drop the circle and say, don't come near me because I'm going to pop.
Pop indeed. Neith locked in once again for Emelito. Not a surprise to see him go back to that one. Maybe we'll start seeing bans focused at that just to get him off it potentially in the future. And there's going to be the duo lane, the Wombo combo that we've seen out of Epsilon multiple times so far. And the 100% win ratio, Rafa's Sylvanus.
Still going on. We'll see in game 2 if he's able to keep this one up. If you've been following, 7 plays, 7 wins for the support of Epsilon on this Sylvanus. So we'll see if we can keep this train rolling. The team certainly will. 7-0.
Athena.
Or 7 wins.
I like the Athena pickup here. It could go into the jungle, could go into solo. More than likely, however, we'll see that picked up from Milsey this game.
Sure.
Something not necessarily tankier than an Ares, but what it will do is have a little bit more mobility to get himself out of a sticky situation if required. 2 escapes out of a sticky situation.
Medusa. And that's the combination that's so potent. Medusa, well, you don't want to look at her. Athena forces you to look at her. So that combo becomes very, very scary if Epsilon doesn't have their beads online. So look for early actives, especially in that duo lane.
Yeah, once again as well, Conspiracy's composition, the ISIS in the mid lane already. Where will we see Epsilon go to? Well, we've seen some new war from them in both mid and the solo lane as well. Adapter's going to default to Thor this time round, get his priority, and not allow Soggy Sandal to pick that one up.
Adapting can play basically, not whatever he wants. He's not quite the solo lane god pool, but everything that he's pulled out thus far has been rather successful. Thor, definitely in his god pool. I like the decision to take this specifically away from Soggy Sandal, though.
Yeah, take it away from him, and then ban Fenrir as well, because Fenrir was the god that he defaulted to last game.
I mean, yeah, I'm taking a look at Soggy Sandal. It's just Fenrir and Thor are the top of his plate.
The top 2, so what are we going to see Soggy Sandal head over to this game? Balona off the table, Circuit off the table, Al Kwong off the table as well. Majority of the junglers down. Probably going to see Batz, I expect.
I would expect so, too. That's a very potent god right now. And, it's interesting. As we see the new op being banned out, no surprise there.
Smart choice.
Batz is a character that I felt coming into this one because fights were less predictable. Coming into this split, rather, because of the change to mid-camps. Fights are less predictable. Batz didn't see as much play early on. Now that teams have adjusted to where the fights are going to be, they're used to those mid-harpies not being there. Now teams are a little bit more comfortable. They understand a little bit more. There's more predictability because they've been in this meta, so Batz has seen a little bit of a resurgence.
Bit of a resurgence for him. Agni locked in for Yamin in the mid lane. Not a surprise to see him on that one. He's one of his go-tos where possible, and now we're going to have to see what the solo lane is going to pick.
Mr. Batz!
Shocked by that one, but where's the solo lane going to go? Because he's up against Dimmy. Dimmy's going to be able to counter pick this. I don't know if we're going to see a Chunga this time round, or at least this early.
London Conspiracy solo laner Zashu. Played Wukong 4 times, Hercules once, Chang'e once, well, twice now with that last matchup. So we'll see if he goes the way of
right
thick
down to the right with
tanky.
this one. There we go.
And
Hercules.
he will. Hercules will be coming out. Highest KDA of any of Zashu's gods.
A good front line.
6.3.
Good front line for London Conspiracy. This Athena, Batz, and Hercules are going to be able to go in and go aggressive. On the backside, you've still got Medusa there, and Isis with the long-range Wingo, Spirit Balls, and that Circle of Protection. And there's the Odin pick. Odin, very effective against multiple gods here. Medusa has no escape from the ring naturally. Isis, no escape from the ring naturally. Athena, one escape from the ring, not necessarily naturally. Batz does, and Hercules trapped in it as well. If he can hit 4 of these people at the same time, it's going to be problematic for the boys of Conspiracy.
Right off the bats, I see
That's bad.
2 frontliners right away for London Conspiracy, which is a large change from last time around. They had Ares, who frontline, yes, and you had the Thor, which is sort of half and half, right? Coming into it, London Conspiracy understands, because if Epsilon gets rolling like they did last time, that could be alleviated by having more tanky bruisers. So they go ahead, they pick up the Athena, which they have to, but they pick up a Hercules, a Batz, not a frontline bruiser, but will disrupt any sort of aggression that starts to come online, and Isis, fantastic way to prevent a siege. So what London Conspiracy has done with this draft, they said, all right, Epsilon, you guys played out of your minds last time. If you want to do that again, you're going to have to fight through a very hard-to-siege composition.
And you can see that as well with the start of this game, what we see from Emilzy. He started off with the the crippling curse just to start things off. So he got that slow in case somebody tries to go aggressive. Can also use it aggressively in lane 2. And in response to that, you've also got the Rafa Sylvanus with that Soul Stone and a Blink that's picked up at the start of this game.
It's funny. You keep saying the Rafa Sylvanus, but with your accent, it sounds like the Wrath of Sylvanus.
The Wrath
But it's
of
very
Sylvanus.
fitting for Rafa Sylvanus.
It is. Maybe I was doing it without even realizing it on purpose. Red buff will go over to the start for Aero. We're seeing this once again. Now that the split is in full swing, we've defaulted back to starting red buff on mid laners, not doing the paradigm start, the AFK one, just because people are realizing there's potential for that red to be stolen away otherwise.
Right. We still see it in mix and matches, depending on teams and compositions. We generally see a little bit of disparity between choices. In our first minute here, everybody is where they should be. No invades coming out. Traditional starts from teams all around. And again, we haven't mentioned it in a while, as these mid-camps become lightly contested. Don't expect to see a huge jump in, but Spirit Balls and Wind Gusts.
It's one of those rinse repeats. Who's going to get it? And now we can see Aero actually get aggressed on there. He shouldn't die. Oh, those in-hands might kill him. Adapting. Forget the in-hands. Always forget the in-hands from Thor. When you see them connect, they do chunk.
Adapting with the unceremonious
It's because the
blood.
hammer's always so small, right? Like when you see Chak Axe, you're like, oh, that's going to hurt when he auto-attacks. But when that little baby Thor hammer hits you, you're like, that's not going to... Ow!
Yeah, there's no attack chain, so you're always getting hit for 100% of basic attack right there coming out of Thor. Did not think teams were going to go all in, but presented with the opportunity, adapting, always the aggressor, gets first blood very early on at the first mid-camps.
Notice what Rafa did there. He went and installed back Harpies, as we saw in the minimap. Just had the opportunity to rotate around, steal them away, so deny experience from London Conspiracy again. We're going to see them ping to go to those back Harpies. Look at what they do on the right as well. Epsilon are denying jungle everywhere.
I mean, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. So they go ahead, they take out the mid laner. The mid laner and the jungle generally share those back camps, so right away, Adapting goes ahead and cleans that one up.
Zashu could be in trouble if he uses that driving strike. That's what they were looking for more than anything. They know the Earthbreaker's down as well. So now they're just going to be able to spin on him. And notice how Adapting is holding his wall until he needs to use it. Zashu running towards a tower, but it's not his. And Adapting gets 2 kills.
2 kills in 2 minutes. Adapting looking very strong. Now, one thing for London Conspiracy to hold on to is that Thor is not a super hyper carry. So
Emilito 2v1 in there and actually going out in a decent enough situation, taking a bit more poke though from Emilzy. Emilzy really wants to try and bring this one down, but there's no more support able from Shaggy Shenki, but he's just too low and didn't have the chase potential.
So that's how I was saying. Thor will be doing work from now until the mid game. But it's not a Kali, it's not a Freya. That's what London Conspiracy can hang on to. Yes, you don't want to let any character get ahead. Thor will still chunk you, don't get me wrong.
But Adapting's Thor, though. It's Adapting's Thor. Like, Adapting's Thor is one of the strongest.
If you're London Conspiracy, you got to look for something. You can't 3 minutes in say it's over because of a double kill.
No,
on
it's
a
not.
Thor.
It's not over. But what we're saying here is like you got to look for something. Yeah, but at the moment your whole jungle's down. What
Sure.
the hell do you do? Well, I guess we're going to have to share experience in the lanes, which is going to slow us all down in terms of experience gain and give Epsilon the early lead once more.
Very early on in this one. Only 3.5 in. Already 2 kills on the side of Epsilon. Both going the way of the jungler. Adapting was player of the game in our first game, playing a fantastic Fenrir. A little bit of throwback to what he started off the league with. Here in the second game, going to be playing Fenrir, or rather Thor, which is his most picked god. This will be the 8th time in his career, the SPL, that he'll be bringing this god out. And off to a very, very good start, as we said, for him personally and for the team. That's amounting to about 1,000 gold lead.
Dimmy, one of the only Odin players you see around. He's actually making a rotation here from the solo lane, looking for Aero. Keep an eye on that one. Maybe he's going to pick up mid-Harpies instead of Aero.
Yeah.
A little bit more aware there with Soggy Sandal as well to get out of the way of it. But talking about Dimmy, solo lane Odin, it's not something we see too often on too many people, but he seems comfortable with it and he likes going to it.
It's an odd choice, but what it's for me, it's a very niche choice. A little bit of trouble in the jungle. Soggy Sandal caught out, brought to 50% already. Double tap coming out of the Berserker's barrage as well. The monkey will fall with help from Yaman. Up in the air is adapting, looking for more. Right back down.
Combo.
Arrow, go home. Double kill for the mid lane.
Completely clean once again for Epsilon. I mean, they got into that engagement. They knew exactly where they were heading for. The Fear No Evil didn't even defend him. And then Aero gets hit inside the ring by Dimmy. Sits in the circle of protection to try and survive. But as soon as he finished that and got a little heal off, well, Thor comes in as well and picks up the kill. 2 kills once more. And now a Gold Fury as well.
No contestation coming out from London Conspiracy. And Epsilon, they're starting to snowball again. 4 kills to 0 just 5 minutes in with the Gold Fury. That's going to put them 3,000 gold in the lead. And Hitman, gold is relative. This 3,000 gold lead at 5 minutes is much different than a later 3K.
Exactly. I mean, 2,500 right now as it stands. That's a huge lead at the start of this game. That's going to get you beats finished early. It's going to complete your first item or even get you onto your second completed item. And having that sort of lead early on will really start to establish more pressure for London Conspiracy to have to deal with. On top of that, they're behind anyway. They've had the jungle invaded multiple times, so it makes it even more difficult.
Arrow trying to salvage what he can in this mid lane. Himself not falling too far behind, still relatively relevant. Only 1 level behind his opponent. Hercules is sitting in the middle of the opponent when it comes to net worth. So while the rest of his team is suffering just a little bit, Hercules going to stand above what the dual lane has to offer for Epsilon.
What's actually showing you there is where the graph should be, right? Because the solo laners are generally the ones that don't get involved in the fighting for the most part. So if you ever want to check in with how you're doing compared to your team in your own games at home, check in with what the solo laners level is, check in with what their gold is, because it'll give you a rough idea of where you should be. Obviously, if you're in duo lane, you might be sharing a little bit more, but you can get a rough estimate of how the game should be going, and that's why you can see Zashu is sat where he is right now.
We'll sit in the dual lane for the first time all game. Emilidu versus Shaggy Shank. Standard stuff. Don't be fooled, folks.
The scariest thing is like the net worth of the team. Like we've got an Athena that's above her Hunter, or just a second ago was above her Hunter, above Batz, and above Isis. It's rough. Adapt is going to the sky though. They're going to make a big play here.
The World Weaver going to stop the dash midway. Turn around as Medusa trying to make things happen. Surprise! It's Raffer! Knocked in the air as Shaggy Shank. Toasted and roasted by Yaman. Here comes help from the jungle with the Fear No Evil. That's going to disrupt the fight, but only for a moment. Yaman picks up his second double kill in that many minutes. 5 minutes ago, he got a double kill. Right now, he gets a double kill. The team will group up as 4, chase down Arrow. The stun will miss, but the second stun, well, that one will miss as well. Arrow able to get out as well.
Good beats from Arrow there. But one big thing that you saw in that engagement there, London Conspiracy, sorry, Epsilon, for me, I was like, they messed up here because they went on 2 different targets at the same time. They went for Medusa got out, they switched their attention to Athena, but then Rafa comes in and he switches attention to Medusa, ignoring the Athena completely, and they still managed to pick up 2 kills in that engagement anyway on the Medusa, which was the one that they switched off the target from. Like, normally, you wouldn't get away with that, and they're managing to make it work.
It's when you're this far ahead, you can sort of spread out the damage a little bit.
It's teammate trust. That's the big key to it.
Exactly. They understand. I mean, Yaman started this streak last game. He got a double kill under the Titan when Epsilon was winning. The double kill at the 5-minute mark. The double kill at 7 minutes. Just give him 2. 2 every time. That's what Yaman's looking for. Not 3, not 1, 2.
I like what Yaman just did then as well. He actually went back to base and he bought rank 2 of Spear, changed his mind, sold it, bought rank 1, and then upgraded his beads and got Blink online too. So one thing you should note in your games going forward, guys, is that when you're ahead, don't be stingy on your actives because they'll keep you alive more often and make more pressure for you on the team. You can see this, that he could have just gone for raw damage then to keep the beatdown going, but he wanted to make sure he lives.
Especially on a mage. Especially on a mage, you're just a little squishy. At any point in time, doesn't matter if you're up by 700 or 7,000. If 5 people surround you, you're probably going to go down.
But you've also got the opportunity to like use those actives aggressively as
of
well,
course.
like beads for cooldown, blink for aggression to get in there for a stun. Both these things become more useful than necessarily just going for the raw damage. Now we're going to see Epsilon though swing mid lane here, big rotation mid. Are they actually going to be looking for the tier 1 tower, or are they just making a big play for Hercules? I'm not sure. They're moving over here.
I like that play, the blink in with the Raven shield, but mid lane is where all the action is right now. Arrow protecting himself for just a moment, and the swift basic coming out of Raffer.
Those wisps as well on top of that. They're not going to find the petrifiers of Raffer though. He's going to juke out. He will be the first casualty of war that London Conspiracy get the life of, and he went over to Shaggy Shank, which is good for them. But meanwhile, all this is going on, well, Adapt him. He's still in the jungle.
So you trade your support for a speed buff? I know all the junglers at home are screaming worse, but is that
It was support for a mid and a speed buff.
Ah, there
so
you
it's
go.
not so bad, and now they're going to potentially pick up a Milsey in the mid lane as well. Adapt's going to get credit for that one, and force Soggy Sandal back again. So definitely worthwhile.
Definitely worthwhile. All of these individual picks are really amounting to what winds up being a large team lead. 10 minutes in, Fire Giant has just spawned. Fire Giant always late to the party. Likes to show up 10 minutes late, fashionably. And he'll be a viable option for an objective should Epsilon win a fight.
I mean, for 10 minutes in right now, as it stands, there's not a whole lot Conspiracy can do differently than what they've been doing. They got invaded early on, which caused them some issues, but the communication from Epsilon on these team fights, they've got to call the rotations on the Conspiracy a little bit quicker. The moment someone's missing, they need to call it out. They need to get wards down everywhere right now. Can we have a look at the wards play so far this game? Let's have a little look. Yeah, Milsey has warded as much as he can for his team, but look at the across the way, there's more wards coming out from Epsilon all the time. Got to get the vision up. It's very important because these rotations, you can see this now in the jungle. Yamin, Rafa, and Emelito are all roaming around together.
Shaggy Shank has yet to place any vision.
Well, Emelito's only placed 1, so it's okay. But they're doing the same thing here, Epsilon. They're trying to bait them in. They're actually going to Will Weaver across the map. That's for Arrow in mid lane, I think. Trying to set him up for a bit of disruption. Rafa's on his way in too with the blink, and there's the ultimate coming out as well. Circle protection will heal him up a little bit for the time being. The route is dodged, but he won't dodge the wall. He will fall. Zashu, though, does manage to combine with a Milsey to pick up 1 kill over on that right lane on Dimmy, but the double tap from Adapting will bring down the Batz.
I notice this every time when I watch Raffer play this game. His body blocks are on point. I mean, even just as simple right there, he blocked Arrow for maybe 2-3 steps, not even, but it was just enough for Thor to make it in and drop the wall.
Talk about Thor dropping the wall. He just did then. Took a bit more than he could chew then.
Great
Shaggy Shank. Well, to be fair, Shaggy Shank realized that he wasn't going to be able to get away. He had to fight to stay alive.
But
he may still die.
Here's the rest.
Rotation.
By the rest, I mean everyone on the side of Epsilon. Everything will miss. No stun. Dash away. Shaggy Shank might get out of this off the help of a
That was
Milsey.
so nice.
He will.
Shaggy did such a good work there to get himself out of that. Used the passive that he has of the extra mobility from sidestepping, juke the bomb that was raining down, juke the auto attacks. Only got hit really by the wisps, and a Milsey saves the day of his hunter.
So impressed by the movement of Shaggy Shank to get out of there. Don't forget, as we said, London Conspiracy, a great team. No slouch, not exactly the bottom of the bracket. And Shaggy Shank coming from a very good spot. Team Coast, when Team Coast existed, Hinduman, I mean, he was the spotlight character. He was a breakthrough hunter.
Positioning was the key thing to him as well. That's what people always talked about in that. He managed to stay out, but maybe positioning this time, he could be a little bit caught out. He's going to get full wombo this time. Does manage to lacerate away in time. Teleport coming on the backside from Zashu to join this team fight. But the dunk from Adapting is good into the circle of protection. There's the ring from Dimmy. And there's 4 men stuck inside. And the goal is going to fall as Dimmy's like, all right, boys, you stay here.
Beautiful play by the Odin. That's what you need to see. Now, Emilzy will pick up Dimmy in exchange for the Gold Fury, but thus far it's fine. Arrow taking out Adapting might be problematic. Quick blink away by the support. So Epsilon does pick up the gold, but they drop their jungle and their solo laner still up 5,000 gold.
Signs of life of Conspiracy, though. They managed to get back into it a little bit, picking up a couple of kills. I know they didn't win the engagement overall, but they're starting to try and respond to this pressure that Epsilon's been putting on them since the first game, to be brutally honest. And it started once again in the second one. They've just got to try and find something off the back of these, but how much time have they got left? That's the question. I mean, Epsilon, they've got the second Gold Fury of this game already.
Well, it's early still. It's very early, actually. It's 14 minutes in. That is a large mountain to look at.
5K? 5K at this stage is a lot. It's a lot of gold to be behind, especially in the current meta where the gold lead isn't that easy to get hold of. You don't get as much gold from kills anymore, so it's all down to farming more, which is what Epsilon's doing, and it's all down to getting Gold Furies more, which is what Epsilon's doing. And they're denying the jungle, which is just causing more issues.
London Conspiracy definitely have a mountain to climb. Hercules stuck in the ring with two members of Epsilon. Dimmy does a great job, stomps down as well, and Zashu will fall to the hand of Adapting off of the quick assist by Dimmy.
Zashu did what he could then as well. That was a great driving strike. He created as much distance in the ring as he could, hope for a rotation to come. His team were on the way, but by the time they managed to rotate over there, he was already dead. The World Weaver was on its way, and now the turn one's going to fall in right.
Epsilon will take this one out. No defense coming out from London Conspiracy, as we have said many times over. It's 500 gold, no problem for that tier 1.
Big burst from Yamin in the mid lane there onto Arrow. He has got a level advantage of 2 levels there. Circle protection forced for a mini heal. Maybe Yamin's cut out because he's got no path of flames now. He just used it to get in here. Rafa to the rescue potentially as he's Adapting. Yamin's still alive for now, but not long as Emilzy does find the kill. It's not the one that really wants it. As Adapting gets 2, they may be able to get a triple.
Emilzy does wind up making it out, but 2 members fall to the hammer of Thor. Ladies and gentlemen, your jungler for Epsilon, 7, 1, and 5, only 15 in. Wow.
Really good. And Melito steals away the red buff on this side. Now going to have a 1v1 against Shaggy Shank here. Shaggy thought better of it up against that Soul Eater. And when you miss the first few basics, Hunter versus Hunter, you generally see the one that misses back out immediately because he knows it's not going to go well.
All right, we'll give it a shot. Whoops, I missed my shot about. That's usually how it tends to go down. Medusa still trying to fight, picks up her own blue buff.
Good defense of the blue buff there. Sorry, of the purple buff. You called it blue and you got me confused then as well. Thanks, F-Dart.
It's a shade. Actually, purple is a shade of blue.
Okay.
Roy G. Biv.
We'll go with that for the time being then. But yep, once again, Epsilon invading where they can, put the pressure on. Check the golden experience charts one more time for us, and we should see it still continuing to grow. There was a small dip in favor of London Conspiracy halfway through this, which was just after that Gold Fury, but it's not enough to really set themselves up for anything else. They're currently holding on okay, but that tier 2 tower on the right is very weak now. And when you start losing tier 2s, well, that's when the issue is really going to be a problem.
It's not something that Epsilon wants to generally force. I mean, the tier 2 is not something that they're going to go for right away. It's more of a tower of opportunity. But that's the question I want to pose to you, Hindu Man. We're seeing a lull of action. Epsilon right now sort of trying to decide where they're going to go. Where is the next opportunity for either team?
Next opportunity really for Epsilon is just looking for the rotations again. They're warding up, they're controlling the fire giant area. What they're going to try and do is bait people in or find someone overextended. Talk about overextended, that's Zashu right now. And they're closing into this angle to try and pick him, or the tower as well. So they can go for the tower or catch someone coming through the jungle here. Conspiracy though, what they really need to do is just hold on to what they've got right now, which isn't much.
2 wards go down on the tier 2. That will fall. Arrow immediately just annihilated. Zashu going to get stunned out after his dash. The team will leave him alone. That's a Hercules. The rest of Epsilon will look towards the right-hand side. Fear No Evil used to disrupt just a little bit, but the ring is down. Athena being focused. Shaggy Shank will be the savior, but Yaman takes out Zashu in the jungle. 5 members of Epsilon are alive, looking at this Phoenix.
Blinky from Mills is going to get a big tongue. Good Petrify follow-up as well from Shaggy, but I don't think it's enough to even find a kill. It's not enough.
That's the play that London needed. They got a taunt into huge burst. Everyone from Epsilon gets weak. No Phoenix for them. That's the defense they need.
Was the defense they need. The funny thing is I don't think Agni even used beads then. He just ate it. Agni just ate that full burst and went, okay, I'm going to keep my bees for another time.
Just walks away. Still off cooldown, as you said. 6-1-8 on the Agni. It's cool. He's got 2 heads, 6 kills, 8 assists, 1 death.
Random.
No, it's
good
a
random
line.
numbers. Good random numbers there from
It's a slash line.
So Epsilon had the potential not to start looking at the Fire Giant. The Phoenix did stand then. In the end, it wasn't too bad for Conspiracy because that tier 2 tower, honestly, was already pretty much dead anyway. The fight wasn't good, but they held the Phoenix. That's a key.
That's all I
held
care
the
about.
Phoenix
That's
now.
all I care about. If I'm London Conspiracy, I am a little upset that I didn't get the kill. Sure. But all I care about is that my Phoenix is up right now.
Look at the wards again from Epsilon in the jungle. Deep sentries everywhere to see the full rotations of London Conspiracy. And what does that mean? Well, they can start doing the Fire Giant, which they're already doing on the backside of Millsy. Now recognizing that the team's going to try and get in there. Good counter blink by Emilzy. And a blink from Yaman. They're going to try and pick up Emilzy before he can get out here. He's got an ultimate available. He does. He has to channel it hard here. But he won't be able to get in the fight. Oh, they've wasted a lot for him. Did that dot hit from Wrath of Terror? I don't know. But guess where Dimmy is? He's going to pick him up anyway.
Love the foresight by Dimmy to go ahead and drop the ring exactly where Athena was going to land. Down comes Adapting, hits nobody, but Fear No Evil, quite the opposite, hits the whole team. Soggy Sandal, as soon as he drops it, will be dropped himself by the Goomba Stomp out of Odin. One more smack over the top on Zashu, and Yaman will claim the life of Hercules as well.
And there's not a whole lot London Conspiracy can do now. There's only 2 members left. Shaggy, Shank, and Aero. Well, they've got to try and contest, I guess, but if they come down this alleyway, it's probably not a good call from them. They're going to get aggressive immediately.
Shaggy Shank trying to do what he can, but pulled right back in. Pulled into the Isis ultimate, which will be a temporary reprieve for him. But as soon as he gets out, he gets in. Yaman takes him down, Adapting with the kill onto Aero. My mistake, Raffer gets credit for the kill.
Absolutely.
On the Hunter. But all told, 5 members are dead on one side, 5 members are alive on the other, and Epsilon will collect their free Fire Giant. 22 kills to 5, just 20 minutes in. Your leading team is up by 10.
You're about to say Victor, weren't you?
I'm trying to hit you right now. Stop it. Your leading team is up by about 10,000. Make that 11,000 gold. In addition to the Fire Giant buff, everything is looking the way of Epsilon.
All I can really say is this is a clinic. This is absolutely a clinic.
This is a clinic.
The whole
This is
games.
a textbook. This is a chalkboard with yesterday's lesson on it.
You can
Epsilon
watch this game back multiple times from different angles, and you'll see every single one of these players combining very well together. They're all doing the duties that they need to. They're sacrificing lives when they need to. Dimmy is an example of that. He's playing a frontline Odin that's just there to zone and create space for his team. You can see them working for each other, not just the kill. They're not arguing over who gets the kill. It's about working as a team, you know? This is just really strong.
Yeah,
really strong.
This is team unity. Jump in from Dimmy. Going to do some damage to Emilzy. That is a tank, so Emilzy will be able to get out of there no problem.
I'll tell you something. If I'm Myrmidons right now, because Epsilon's got Myrmidons next, and after watching this, Myrmidons better get themselves prepped with plenty of everything. Like, to be fair, they'd probably be watching this, but it's like, I'd be worried as any team about to
stop
face
clearing
these.
wards.
When you know they beat Paradigm and Fnatic, and then you see them do this to Conspiracy, and to be fair, Conspiracy are not a bad team. They're in contention for a top 4 spot.
I think Conspiracy is very strong. Shaggy Shank, Emilzy, Aero, these guys are strong. Zashu has been in the league for a short amount of time.
Well, Zashu and Soggy Sandal, they're new.
Have proven successful.
They've proven they could work. I mean, their record, they were 4-2 coming into this. The only game they lost was against Paradigm, beating Justice and Myrmidons, but now they're really getting sieged down.
Epsilon doing everything they can. It's just a repeat of the last fight. Great stun coming out of Medusa. Scratch that. London Conspiracy have a great look, but it's not good enough as Emilito takes a kill off of the team. 4 members still alive.
They're just too tanky and too far ahead here after. That's the problem. They got the best combo off that I've seen all game from them. Petrify into a full charge Circle of Protection, and everybody still lived on Epsilon. There's nothing they can do.
It's a numbers game here. They're over 10,000 gold, and London Conspiracy Senior. And Epsilon is able to go ahead and bark down this Phoenix. No perfect taunt Petrify combination this time. Epsilon will claim the Phoenix in just a couple of seconds, couple of hits, but they're also looking directly at Soggy Sandal. Beads and jump will make the monkey get away. Taunt into the shield wall is not good. They're not looking at objectives, folks. They're looking directly at the players. Emilzy will fall down. Aero still alive for a moment. Titan coming in.
Titan is involved now, but he's going to basically they're just going to back away for the time. There's no reason to. They got the Phoenix, but they've still got a tier 2 tower in the mid lane to take. That's what the boys of Epsilon are doing. You saw them all use blinks to get over there to bring it down as quick as they can. Fire Giant buff still raging on them for a while, so they're going to continue to regen. They may want to back though. You know, Raph will be looking for that potentially. He's a bit low on mana right now, or maybe they'll just look to try and find a pick. I don't know what that pull was by Raph. I just watched that in mid lane. He was just pulling minions.
Just going for it. I mean, very much is Epsilon feeling themselves right now. Really, just no other way to put it. London Conspiracy down by an absorbent amount in every category possible. Epsilon still has 5 towers remaining.
Just look at the mid laners. That's the big key, right? You've got an Agni there that's got boots. So has Aero. They've got Spear the Magus. No, not finished Spear the Magus. Book of Toth. Yes. Runner Tahuti. No, not even finished the spear yet. That's
I'm just looking at numbers. 20 to 15 in the mid lane.
Items show you so much though.
20 to 15
20
in the
to
mid
15.
lane.
That's true.
Just boil it down. 5
1 and 7,
levels.
7 and 1. Rough situation.
Rough, as a dog would say.
As he would say, yeah. Amelito challenging all again, going to force Shaggy's beads, and that's going to be goodbye Shaggy because now the whole team's going to turn up to try and he dukes out what he can, but he can't duke out it all. He's just pushing out fire minions in the left-hand lane. Wasn't like really far out of position. He expected the rest of the
little pushed
team.
up, but
maybe a little bit pushed up, but forcing the beads early and then just swung around and picked him up. 4v5, 2 Phoenixes remaining.
Soggy Sandal here does have the ultimate. He's doing largely what Fear No Evil's supposed to be doing. You don't see, like right there, a lot of Hunbatzes would have launched it just to get the single kill. Soggy Sandal understands the situation his team is in, and he's saving it for the group up dives by Epsilon. Great decision making coming out from the Monkey. Unfortunately for him and his team, not the engagements aren't going their way, but that's the way it's supposed to be executed. And in comes Epsilon pouring down the middle lane.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to actually get this Phoenix down very, very quickly. They've got the ring down already. Arrow got bursted. 2 bombs from Yamin ended his life. The third one was for firework display more than anything else. And now they still continue on as Adapting does find Soggy Sandal.
2 members down for London Conspiracy as Epsilon invades the base. Dimmy trying to tank a little bit of what the players have to offer. Zashu and Shaggy Shank on the left-hand side. Here comes Emilzy. He's going to go ahead and clear out the minions more than anything. Epsilon is having trouble closing this one out. They can't find the full fight.
I think they could have ended there, honestly. There was only 3 members remaining, 1 damage dealer, the other 2 are tanks as well. And we've seen when they get the full damage off, they've still not got the damage to kill anybody.
Yep.
Yamin there could have like bursted that down very, very quickly, but Epsilon choosing the safe option. They're going to go back and take the Fire Giant for the second game, finish off buying items before they go back to base.
And here right here, Hinduman, is proof in the pudding that Epsilon feels the same way about LC as we do. This is a good team. This is not
Respect.
This is not a team that they can just expect to steamroll by any stretch of the imagination. The lead they have can easily be turned around with the help of the Titan on defense. So they go ahead. Epsilon picks up the Fire Giant to assist in what should be their final siege of the London Conspiracy Titan.
Well, the final backs are happening now. Agni in base gets combat blink for Yamin. And what do we see? Amelito go back and pick up. That's going to be some crit online for him. Not enough for a Rage or a Deathbringer. Does have haste and Fatalis in that build. We've seen it time and time again. But in mid, Adapting takes to the sky.
Adapting, choosing his target wisely. Right down on the target that blinks.
Meanwhile,
off screen, Dimmy just annihilates level 15 Arrow. Nowhere for that Isis to go.
Really rough situation for Conspiracy. They need to just get this game over with, honestly. It's rough for them too because they're going to probably come out of this and people are going to be like, oh my god, this jungle is 0-6. Oh my god, that mid lane is 1-9. These guys are damn
This
good
is
players.
the engagement that London Conspiracy needs. They have the Fear No Evil, they have the Petrify, but unfortunately it winds up being a double kill on the opposing team's support.
Body blocking Emilzy to stop him getting back to the fountain as well. The ring will definitely pin them in place. And Shaggy Shank, who was trying to support him, well, he's ringed in and Yamin drops the bombs. A deicide for Epsilon. The final one of this game for sure as they move on to an 8-0 record.
10-1-19 on Adapting's Thor.
10-1-19. Well, to be fair, all across the board, they had fantastic slash lines. I think everybody died like once. One person died twice. I think Dimmy was the one that died twice that game. There's only 5 deaths, I believe, on the side of London Conspiracy at the end there. Sorry, on
Yeah.
5 deaths on the side of Epsilon. Love conspiracy.
Epsilon goes ahead, takes game 2 and game 1 in spectacular fashion in the series between them and London Conspiracy. Just absolutely incredible. This team has been looking good, but this week on another level.
Especially because that game especially was just destruction against Paradigm, against Fnatic. They look good. They took games up, both those games against those two, but managing to beat Conspiracy in this fashion, well.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the win is the win, but it's the way these two games were won, and against the opponent, London Conspiracy. Very good team. That, unfortunately, for LC will even out their win-loss to a 4-4, whereas Epsilon continues pushing on their undefeated record, 8-0 for the European squad led by Raffer. We do have player of the game, I mean, twice in a row. First game was Fenrir, second game was Thor, and third game of the interview, we've got Adapting right here with us. I mean, I have nothing else to say besides fantastic job adapting for both you personally and your team. How do you feel after that one?
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm happy with our performance. We've been performing well so far and just hope to keep it up.
So, obviously, your attention should be turning towards LAN already, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the goal.
Because you're currently 8-0. You got Myrmidons up next as well next week. Any special plans for them, or is it just rinse repeat what we've been doing so far?
We're gonna have some plans for them, of course. Just plan ahead every time, so we're ready.
I like it, keeping it close to the chest. Loose lips sink ships. But so, you guys played fantastically, and one of the things that Hindu Man and I noted was that you guys seemed to really come together as a unit, as a team, this week specifically. Was there anything different that you guys did to prepare for this week, or is this just what happens with the tale of time?
This is just what happens with time. Like, we just start working better together. Just hanging out, everything.
Yeah, communication
just
seems
become a unit.
Your communication just seems so strong right now as a team, and like some of the decisions and like ideas you've got in the game is just working out for you guys so well at the moment. I'm very excited going forward. One question for you though before I let you go, Adapting. Who do you reckon your biggest opposition is in Europe right now?
In Europe?
Yeah.
It's a hard one. I mean, it's very, very hard, honestly. Like,
is it hard because you don't know?
Maybe.
Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe Titan or Paradigm. I mean, it's hard because Fnatic are so good as well, but like everyone has off days, It's hard to tell.
Everyone has off days. That was definitely an on day for you guys, though.
Congratulations on your win. I'll let you give any shout-outs if you have any before I let you go.
Yeah, thanks, man. Shout-outs to Epsilon, my team, all my lovely viewers and fans. Shout-outs to my old TA team, Flamboyant. And shout out to Emilito specifically for being too scared to do the interview himself. And also shout out to a new video I've uploaded to YouTube. It's a montage/highlight video, and I'd like for you to check it out at Epsilon Adapting on YouTube.
Awesome. Definitely something I'm going to do. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. That, of course, was Adapting jungler for his team, Epsilon, off of a fantastic victory. Now, of course, this puts Epsilon even further in the lead, 8-0 on them. Let's take a look at where the rest of Europe still stands.
And there you are, 8-0, 6-2, and 6-2 for Titan and Paradigm alongside each other there. Conspiracy slipping down to 4-4. Bottom two teams, though, is Fnatic and Dignitas. And I'll tell you what, the start of the season, I would not have expected that by this point.
Not at all. It's funny, I was laughing. He started to talk, so I cut myself off. I wasn't sure which direction Adapting was going to go. It's hard to decide. Is it hard to decide because nobody can stand up to you guys, or everybody's good?
That's what I thought.
He went the political way, he said, but frankly, I mean, I don't know.
We're respectful in EU. We just banter a lot. That's the only difference.
Anyway, we're going to get away from this Hindu Man guy, or at least I am. Hindu Man and Kevin will grace you on the desk in just a little bit. North America coming up next here with the SPL.
Just come back to